Hello, testing. Can we hear me? Is the mic working? Hello. Good evening, everyone. Hi. How is everybody? How was your weekend? Too short, yes. No, I feel that. How was my day yesterday? It was great. It was busy as all get out. It was a lot. Classes went really well. I don't want to work tomorrow. Can we start Saturday over? Honestly. Yeah. Classes went really well. Oh, thank you, Kieran. I'm so glad you could be there. Yeah, I had a small fuck up. Well, I said this, chill, excuse me. I said, my whole body shook right there. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for being there. I had two small faux pas with class. I didn't realize, I brought this up yesterday during Subscriber Live, but I didn't realize that I had been telling everybody that class was 12 to 2, 12 to 2. I'm sorry, I said the class was 2 to 4, 6 to 8. And I kept saying that. And I looked at the website and I was saying it wrong. I had it wrong. I had it wrong for weeks. So it was actually 12 to 2. So I had to rush and put it in my Instagram story the night before. And I looked at the confirmation on Square, and there were two people, I think, that went by the 2 to 4 time. And me being me, I never shut the fuck up. So me being me, class used to be an hour, and going through 78 cards in an hour is just not doable. And so I made it a 2-hour class, and I've been doing 2-hour classes for a minute. And true to form, I kept rambling about tarot ethics and do's and don'ts and what is tarot before I even got to the cards. And then yes. Plus I talk a lot in them. Yes. So my 2-hour class turned into a 3-hour class. And lucky for me, everybody stuck around. And I know, shut up. But it's still the same price. You know what I'm saying? It's the same price. I just feel bad if people had plans or shit that they were gonna do and whatever. But no, everybody stuck around and listened to everything we had to say and got their questions in and stuff like that. So but yeah, when it was approaching the 2 o'clock mark, when I was supposed to be done, I was working through the minor arcana. And there were 2 people in the waiting room, and I was like, fuck, man, like, oh my God, I fucked up. Like, on the confirmation email, it said 2 to 4, but on the website, it said 12 to 2. And I had verbally said multiple times 2 to 4. So I fucked it up. And then, so I had to scramble, like I said the night before, and put it in my Instagram story and put it all over the place. And, to make sure that everybody saw it. So most people saw it, but it was just a couple of people that weren't able to see it. And I felt like such a pile of dog shit about it, that one of the people in class, or that was supposed to be in class for the 101, she kept jumping into the waiting room to try and see if she was late, or if she was missing something, or if it was technology on her end or something like that. So during the break, I jumped into a call with them because they were in my waiting room. So I was like, let me just hang out for a second and see if they come back. So they came back and they were in the waiting room, and I like turned on the thing, and she looked like, where is everybody? You know? And I was like, so hi, yeah, I'm an idiot. And I had the wrong time on Square versus what it's supposed to be on the website, and what I've been verbally telling people. So I had a big fuck up, and I'm really, really sorry. So, we had a long conversation about it, and not a long conversation, but we had a little chat about it and everything. And they were very understanding and very, very sweet to me. So after my 3-hour class that was supposed to be 2, I got on this call with them, and we were talking, and they were telling me that they read for themselves, and they do have an understanding of the cards and everything. And they mostly just have an issue with the minor arcana and like remembering what the minors mean and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, so I don't even think that like you need the 101. I think you should take the 102. And I was like, do you have plans today? Like, and she's like, no, I'm wide open. And I was like, well, my 102 is in like an hour and like 45 minutes. If you want to hop onto that on me, don't worry about it. And I was like, and for the trouble, I was like, for the trouble, not only am I going to refund you for class, but if you want to take the 102, use the same link. It's the same thing. And then I'm also doing class again in December. For those of you that don't know, I haven't announced this yet officially, but I'm going to be doing classes again at the last week of December. So kind of you can make it a Christmas present or something. So I was like, not only am I refunding you, but I'm going to give you access to the 102 in about an hour, and then a free class for December, because I just feel like dog shit. And she was like, it's fine, but thank you. Like, so she was very appreciative. And then the other person, we just messaged back and forth, and I was like, I'm an idiot. I'm so fucking sorry. And I was like, I want to do this and this. And do you want a refund? And she was like, no refund is necessary. I just want to make sure I get the recording, and I'd love to take class in December. And I'm like, great. So I was really bothered by it, and I just, I'm not I try to be as professional as possible. And yes, you guys are right, like shit happens, I'm human, but I do run my own business and everything, and I want to be as professional as possible. And if I'm hosting classes and stuff, I want to make sure that you get your money's worth, and that you get things that you want to hear and things you didn't know, and that I actually do help you remember what cards mean, and a way to connect them together and stuff like that. So I just, I'm really, really hard on myself. And Dustin had to kind of talk me off a ledge for a minute there, where he was like, babe, like you've done everything you can. You made a mistake. You made it up to these people. They're going to take the December class. Everyone was understanding. Everyone was fine. And it worked out, right? And I'm like, yeah, it worked out. But like, what is wrong with me? So it just makes me feel slightly unprofessional when I have fuck ups and things like that. When I have like technical things that happen, like I had one time, but it was really another time. And having mistakes like that just feels really unprofessional. And, you just want to be taken seriously when you run your own business. And especially when you do something that is kind of taboo and something that a lot of people think is bullshit, so it just shows you really care. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what Dustin and I were talking about, is that I just really, really take my job seriously, and I really care about what I do, and want to make sure, that people don't feel like it was a waste of time or a waste of money and stuff like that, so that's my big thing. Is I love teaching classes, and I said this to the class as well, that like I love teaching because it kind of reassures me that I do know what I'm talking about and that I do resonate with people and stuff like that. So it's validating to me in many ways that people want to learn from me, so, but yeah, the 101 was great. I just need to learn to get to the definitions, and so that we can get through the minor arcana and the majors and everything. So, and then the 102, though, I mean, I love the 101, don't get me wrong, but it was a lot of talking. And since I went over for a fucking hour, I didn't really have a whole lot of time to welcome to the tarot rambling class. Literally. I didn't have a whole lot of time to take a break in between. So I ended at like 3:00, and then, I handled the time problems with people, and then, tried to shove food in my face, and then hopped on to my second class, and it went really well. I love the 102 because it's much more hands-on. Jameli, no. Babe ramen. Yeah. The 102, since it's more hands-on and everything, it's kind of fun to kind of hear people say that they've got problems with the common thing I was hearing is that people view the cards kind of categorically, and they read them very individually, and they have a hard time. I don't know if anybody else in the chat sympathizes with this, but some people have a hard time kind of weaving the cards together, weaving the message together, instead of just being like, okay, I've got this card, that means that, this card means this card means this, but like, what do they mean together? Like, how do they connect to each other, So we do some exercises in class that are participatory and volunteer based, but yeah, flow with the narrative, right? Yeah, exactly, Karen. Some people that have an issue flowing with the narrative and weaving the cards together. And I don't know, it's something that's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of hard to explain as a reader how to connect these things. So we do these exercises in the 102 class that take up quite a bit of time. You should be proud of me. I only went about 15 minutes over for the 102. So improvement, a little bit of improvement there. But yeah, it was really cool to do the two exercises that I do with my classes. And by 45 minutes, fuck you. And it's fun to me because you kind of watch these people that were initially very doubtful of their own abilities. You watch them realize that they know more about this shit than they give themselves credit for, So that part to me is really rewarding, and that the stuff that I'm telling you, the stuff that I'm teaching you is sinking in, So What did we say back here? Kieran said, girl, I came to the class looking like a homeless potato and kept camera on, period. So things happen. What we learned from you is that we are human and we're allowed to mess up. Yes. No matter how professional you are, things still mess up. Even if some weren't able to come to the class, they'll be getting the recorded one anyway. So technically they'll get what they paid for. Facts. No, they are. A couple of people have messaged me and been like, I'm sorry I couldn't be there. I had a family emergency or this happened or whatever, but they're still getting the recording. So don't beat yourself up. You made it up to the people, and that's all that matters. Yes, I agree. Yeah, Sierra, I hope you come to the next ones as well. They will be the last week of December, and I will probably put them on the website after Holiday Matsuri. Oh my God, wow. Where's my brain? I'll probably be putting them on the website after Spooky Empire this weekend. So that first week of November, they'll be on the website. So Holiday Matsuri is on my mind because I filled out they relaunched they had their vendor and exhibitor applications in like July for the December. Holiday Matsuri is an anime convention that is it's the largest anime convention in Florida. It happens every year, and it used to be at a hotel, and now it's gotten so big that they have it at the convention center now because it's got so big and so huge. I've had some problems in the past with them where I will have been in conversation with people or with people that run it. And I'm like, hi, I'm an exhibitor. I paid my due. I paid my fee and everything, but I haven't heard anything yet. So I'm just wondering like when we might get info for vendors. And this person got back to me and they were like, if you can't be patient, then we'll just give your spot to somebody else. And I'm like, whoa, like, back the fuck up. Like, I didn't say that. And I'm also not going to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, because I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just asking genuinely for like a timeline of information. And that's what I told them, right? Rude. That's what I told them. I was like, I'm not being impatient. I'm just wondering if there's a timeline for when vendors will get information about their booth numbers or load in for the con so that I can let my fans know like where I'm going to be. You know, even Spooky Empire, they send us a vendor package in email, but unfortunately for Spooky Empire, you don't find out where you're going to be until you get there, you know? So I found out that year that Holiday Matsuri is unfortunately run by a lot of really, really young people that kind of got like power trippy over like, we're the best anime convention in Florida, you know, like it got so big that they got like kind of a big head about it. And so I knew a friend of Dustin's that worked the con and like worked the event, and he made sure I got in there every year. And last year, I was featured as a special guest thanks to his friend. And he was trying to start like an agency for queer entertainers and social media stars and stuff like that. So I was on his little group there for a while. No contracts or anything, just like, you know, let me see what I can do for you. And I'm not sure what happened with that. I think it might have fallen through. I don't really know. But anyway, so last year I was featured as a guest, and they ran me around. I did panels, I did meet and greets, I did readings at my booth and everything. I taught classes. They ran me around, you know, and I was a special guest, so they were paying me to be there. So Dustin found that early October that they opened up their vendor and exhibitor applications again. And he was like, hey, just so you know, like the prices for the booths this year are like double what they were last year. And I was like, oh shit, really? Like maybe it's, you know, maybe it's because they went to a bigger space or whatever. But like, I don't know. Part of me feels like it's because they got big that they were like, we can charge this much now. You know what I mean? Like it's run by a lot of really young people. And they all, when you meet them in person, they kind of act like their shit don't stink. And I was like, hey, so when am I going to get some chairs over to my booth? And they were like, we'll get there. And I'm like, okay, like y'all need to, it's just anime. Like you're not MegaCon, like you're not Dragon Con, like bring it down a bit. And I'm a special guest, so like you're not exactly making me feel welcome. And then when I had at the last day of the convention, I went with the friend to go and get my pay. And I walked into the room and they like couldn't find my envelope and they were being kind of weird about it. And then he had to go behind the table and look for it himself and found it and was like, here you go. And I'm like, thank you so much. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I had a great time this weekend. I love Hallmark. I have vended here for like 3 years now. So it's really great to be here as a special guest. And I hope you maybe have me back next year. And no one said a fucking word. No one said a word. Everyone was just like, you know, so I'm like, I don't know what the beef is. I don't know what the problem is. But I always have this vibe that they like don't want me there, you know, which is unfortunate because I really like being there. And it's one of my favorite cons I do annually. And it's because of the fans, you know, I meet people that are really cool. And I have a lot of fans that come out and see me. And one of my best friends, well, not best friends, but one of my good friends, Yaya, she's there every year. And she's always a cosplay judge. And she helps judge this contest they have on Friday night called the Hottest Men of Anime, which is kind of like an 18 and up strip show where where they do like anime stripping, which is always like low-key really cringe, but also really hot and kind of fun. And I go in there and get a couple drinks and get a little loud. And we're like, yes, take it off. You know what I'm saying? It's so fun to be there. And I always have a great time, you know? And I remember the first year that I was there as a vendor and they were like, oh, are you coming to Hottest Men in Anime? And I was like, yeah, of course. I'm going to try to be there after we close up. We're going to run right over. And I had a lot of people that were like working the con, didn't like run the con, but people that were volunteering and working it. Oh shit, you know Yaya Han, she's a cosplay legend. Yes, I do. She's a good friend of mine, actually. She's awesome. Dustin and I have gone to Disney with them a few times. And whenever they come to Hallmark, it's here in Orlando, like by us. So they stayed with us one year. And you know, we hang out with them and try to party with them and stuff like that and everything. Yaya and Brian are great. But anyway, yeah, so there were volunteers that worked the con that were like running up to me and like, oh my God, Madam, I must get a reading. And I'm like, yeah, of course, like you're working. So let Dustin know like when you want to come back and he'll make sure you just like next in line. You know what I'm saying? Since you're working here, like we'll help you kind of skip the line and jump in so you can get back to work, you know? So the first year I was there, I had this great rapport with a lot of the employees. And I walked up to see where they were doing Hottest Men of Anime. And the line was throughout majority of the hallway. And I was like, fuck, like, I'm not going to get in here. You know, I'm not going to get in here. There's no fucking way that, there's no fucking way we're going to get in here behind all these weebs. Like, there's no way. Like, we're not going to get in here. So I was just like, you know what? The girl on the door, I think I know her. And Dustin was like, yeah, I think she got a read with you. And I'm like, really? And I was going to use Yaya as a flex because she's one of the judges. And I was going to be like, yeah, Yaya told me to come up here and see if I can get in the door or whatever. So all I had to do was like walk up with Dustin. I skipped the line. This is probably the most like shitty fucking, you know, I'm famous like thing that I've ever done. But I just walked up to her and I was like, hi, this is Hottest Men in Anime, right? And she was like, yeah, you're Madam Adam. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, I really appreciate my read, by the way. I really resonated with it. I needed to hear that. And she like gave me a hug and stuff. And I was like, thank you so much, blah, 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 a little conversation. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And I was like, so this is the line, right, to get in? And I was just going to turn around and be like, okay, thanks, you know? And she was like, you're coming in, right? And I was like, Yeah. So she just opened the door and like let us in before anybody got there. So we like ran to the bar, grabbed a couple cocktails and grabbed seats kind of up front. So and then after that, like when I was a special guest, I just had to walk up to the door and they were like, oh, he's with Yaya, or like, you know, that's Madam Adam, get in, you know. So I've always had a really good relationship with the employees and with the convention guests. Like there's never been any complaints about me or anything. So if I don't get in this year, I'm convinced that it's got to be people that like run it that like don't like me for some reason. And I don't know what that is. So I hope to. Dustin filled out the late applications that came out. They re-released them. I was looking through social media to try to find them, and I couldn't find any post about the application being resubmitted unless they deleted it or something. I don't know. So I filled it out, and then like 30 minutes ago, while I was sitting on the couch taking a break, I went through the website and I tried to message them again, like, hey, you know, I filled out the application. Is when am I going to know something, or are there no more spots available? You know, I just want to know what's up so I can tell my people. And so hopefully I'll hear something. I hope that I can get there. It's Holiday Matsuri, so it is a Christmas themed anime convention. So people come in their anime finest and they make it holiday themed. You know, they have voice actors and anime voice actors from, you know, overseas. They're able to have overseas people now, people from Japan and Korea and stuff like that. So it's really cool. They had a lot of voice actors from the game Overwatch a few years ago. And Dustin and I met some of our favorite, you know, characters, voice actors. We met them and got autographs from them and stuff. But people will dress up as like Overwatch characters, but like Christmas, you know, or they'll dress up as like Demon Slayer characters, but Christmas, you know. So I love that con, and if I can't be there this year, it is going to be a bummer for me. It is going to be like, well, fuck, you know, what did I do? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Obviously, I'm not the only person applying. I need to not take it personally. I'm not the only one that's applying, and not the only one that is trying to get in there, you know. So, but I mean, I can't imagine that they are full of vendors if they re-release the applications to like get more vendors in. They must have had some space, you know. So I don't know. When we applied for Spooky Empire and we didn't hear anything for a while, and with that one, Dustin sent an email to somebody and was like, hey, can you check on our application? Because we haven't heard anything yet. And, you know, it's for Madam Adam, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, oh my God, Madam Adam. Yeah, we don't see the application. Are you sure he figured one out? And I was like, or that I filled one out. And I was like, you know what? I might not have filled out the application. I'm so sorry. So they literally sent Dustin an application to send to me to fill out right then and there, and then sent me the invoice immediately. So like that one was like immediate, you know? So one that really wants me, one that's like not eager to have me. I don't know. So it's weird. Right, that's what I'm thinking. They're at the convention center. They have to have more spots. Yeah. So my whole reason to go to Holiday Matsuri would be to meet you in person. I appreciate that, Kev. But the anime crowd is a little different, you know? Like the spooky crowd is full of a lot of really cool people. The horror community is kind of, we're all a little fucked up, you know? We're all a little damaged. We're all a little fucked up. We like horror for our own reasons. But everybody is really cool and really nice. My only issue with a lot of the horror community is that it is full of a lot of like biggity white men energy, especially from like the vendors. There's a lot of like middle-aged white guy energy, and they see me walking around and they're like, okay, you know, but I don't give a fuck because I always have a line of people to see me that want to get a reading and stuff like that. And the spooky community, the horror community, they're my people, you know? So we're all a little fucked up, and they're all just really, really nice. You know, everybody's really nice to each other, whether you're dressed up as Michael Myers or Art the Clown or whatever. You're cool with taking pictures with people. You're making connections. You're having fun. You're making friends. Like, it's just so fun, you know? And then the difference for like anime conventions, anime fans or weebs, they are, a lot of them are kind of, and I say this with love and, you know, all kinds of respect, but a lot of them are kind of awkward, you know, a lot of them are kind of socially awkward. Some people are kind of giving like basement dweller vibes, you know what I mean? Where all they do is like sit at home all day and watch anime. And like, that's fine. Like, I mean, I sit at home all day and watch scary shit. So like, you know, to each his own. But the difference is that like, you know, you can say like, oh my God, so hey, I love your Michael Myers cosplay. And if you get it wrong, they're not like, actually, it's this character. Like, they're not mad about it. They're just like, oh no, I'm actually Michael Myers, you know? So it's different. And then like at anime conventions, we'll say, oh my God, I love your Sailor Moon costume. And they're like, actually, this is my OC. And I'm like, what the fuck is an OC? And someone was like, it's an original character. And I'm like, so how the fuck is anybody supposed to know that you are dressed up as a character that you created? Who would know that? You look like Usagi to me. You got the ponytails and the buns and the sailor costume. I thought you were Sailor Moon. My bad, you know, but there's some people can be very standoffish and socially awkward. So the readings are a little different for those kind of people, you know what I'm saying? Like the readings are, I do more love readings at anime conventions than I do anywhere else. I swear to God, they are mostly love-based, where there are people that are like, you know, will I ever find someone, or is there love for me, or you know, they were with someone and they broke their heart, and they have, you know how anime is, where like it's all very over dramatic and stuff like that. So a lot of people have that kind of personality, you know, but I love it. I do. It is so much fun. And as an anime fan, you know, I do also love anime as well. So we do see familiar characters and stuff that we like and love. And, you know, I get a lot of kind of socially awkward people that are a little intimidated or uncertain about getting a read with me. And then they leave the booth really feeling really good. You know, they leave my booth feeling better about themselves and a little uplifted with a little bit of guidance, and you know how I do. So they always leave a little brighter than they came in. So Emily, will I ever find my waifu? Literally that kind of, literally that kind of energy. Absolutely. So, but I love it. It's great. It's great. You know, it's one of my favorite conventions. So if I don't get in there, I am going to be a little devastated. Especially because like we get to see friends, you know, there are some people, there are some friends of ours that we only see every year. There's some friends that we only see at Halatsuri. So it's like, I want to see my friends, you know? Some anime cosplayers and fans can be assholes. Yes, they can. They get a little elitist, you know, which is weird. Like, no one at Spooky Empire is arguing with you because you like Freddy 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're all like, oh my God, yeah, it's not my favorite. I really like Freddy 3. You know what I'm saying? They're fine with it. Like, there's no, like, there's a lot less judgment. But I will say, like, the problem with the horror community, if we're going to do pros and cons, the problem with the horror community is that there's a lot of conservative white male energy that just kind of love violence. And it's like, back up, you know? So, Weapons is on one of the streaming. Is it super scary? Yes and no. Like, not really. It's a good one. It's twisted. It's a little fucked up, you know? Basically, Weapons is like, there's like an opening narration about what happened, that like one night at the school, this certain teacher's class of kids, the next day, everyone didn't show up. And what happened, like, I'm not giving you spoilers. This is literally shit in the trailer. So what happened was, in the middle of the night at 2:17 a.m., every kid in her class got out of bed, walked downstairs, walked out of their front door, and they were never seen again. So it's like, what happened to this woman's class? Like, what happened to these kids? Like, where the fuck did they go? Why just her class too? Like, what did she do? She had to have something to do with it. And the whole movie is done in like chapters from each of the characters' point of view. So from the teacher's point of view, from one of the parents' point of view, from principal's point of view. So it's like the same. You see the same timeline of things happen from different angles of characters. And it is a little trippy, you know? It is a little trippy, and it is a little spooky. And there are some scenes in it that I'm like, oh God, why? Oh my God, why? You know, there is some of that. But I will say, it's a lot like other scary movies where once you find out what the thing is, it's not so scary anymore. You know, once you know what's going on and what's happening and what the thing is, you know, like what's going on, once you figure out what it is, it kind of takes some of the fear away, and you're like, oh, okay, now I get it. And you're like connecting the dots. But I will say, the end of the movie had everyone in the theater cracking up. We were all laughing by the end of the movie at the way it ended. So I definitely think it's worth a watch. I kind of want to watch it again because it was really good. But definitely a fun one and worth seeing for sure. Do I still have my anime deck? I do. I have a couple of anime decks. I have an anime deck and a manga deck that I tend to bring to Holiday Matsuri. So, you know. This weekend coming up is going to be Spooky Empire. So the lives are going to be a little funky. They're going to be a little weird. Wednesday, we're going to pick up our girlfriend Chelsea, who's going to be helping us out with Spooky. So I should be live Wednesday night, not Wednesday afternoon, but I should be live Wednesday night. I gotta text her and get a timeline together. So I'll let you know. Thursday is going to be set up for the con. So I can probably do my afternoon live, but not my evening live. We'll see how long it takes me to set up. Friday is the first day of Spooky Empire, so there probably won't be any lives that day. So throughout the convention, I might not go, and I probably won't have my standard lives that I do, but I tend to go live during the conventions to kind of pop in and say hi and show you guys what's going on and stuff like that, and kind of show you around the convention. So expect that kind of thing. But so stay tuned to my Instagram story for when I'll be live this coming week, because doing a convention is a lot, you know, setting it up, being there, doing the reads, doing all of that. And since it's just me, Dustin, and our friend Chelsea, we're a small team, you know. If you know anything about me and my business, I don't really have a team. It's just me and a lot of support from my husband. And during conventions, I try to get help if I can so that I can take breaks. And so that I can go eat and someone can stay at the booth, and, you know, and so that they can take breaks and, you know, all of that. So I can't just run a booth by myself, you know. I can't take the money and do the reading and handle the line and take a break. And then, like, who's going to watch the booth? You know what I'm saying? So, like, I need at least 2 bodies with me to help me out. So yeah, stay tuned on my Instagram for how the week's lives are going to go. Yeah. Okay. Let's get into these emails. I've got quite a few. Yeah. Amy is getting us started, Miss Amy Reed. Dear Madam, I would love just a complimentary reading, just in general. By the way, I did buy me some Rider-Waite tarot cards. I've been reading the book and practicing. Very good. I'm glad you got a Rider-Waite deck. We talk about that a lot in my classes, that I suggest you start with that, because most, if not all, tarot books that are meant to teach you, they're going to reference those images. So it is the traditional style. So it is best, in my opinion, to start traditionally before you get a deck that is kind of abstract or something else, you know. And that was something that a student of mine this weekend was saying, that she had a Nightmare Before Christmas deck and she found it difficult to read because the suits are not standard. Like pentacles is like presents, swords are like needles or something, and cups are potions, you know. So it's like, if it's not specific, if it's not cups, wands, pentacles, swords, like it can be kind of confusing. So yeah, I always suggest you start with the Rider deck. So Amy, darling, let's see what I've got for you today. Three and Four of Pentacles. Okay. We're spread a little thin, it seems, the 3 and the 4. So we need to embrace collaboration and teamwork. And we also need to pull back in some places that we might be overextended. So we got to be a little bit more frugal of where you're giving energy, money, and time right now. Make sure that you're protecting yourself and not overdoing it, that you're kind of having some self-control in the people-pleasing department, you know? So embracing collaboration and teamwork should be a sign that you give a fuck about you, that you care about you enough to try to spread the load a little bit, you know, so it's not all on you, so you can lighten up on you a bit, you know. And you also have this Queen of Wands, so it's like you need to delegate down and be a bit more frugal. It's like you need to pull back in general in some places so that you have the courage and strength to be able to make moves in silence that you really want to make. The Queen of Wands has that little black cat that sits in front of her as well, so it's symbolic of spirit looking out for you, casting protection on you. So you are being looked after spiritually. You just have to pull back and think about ways that you can embrace teamwork and collaboration right now. And you don't have to do everything yourself. You know, difficulty does not equal value. I know, weird, right? But it's true. But in this modern capitalist society, we have this idea that, like, you got to grind for it to mean something. You have to work hard to have results. And it's like, yeah, but I see you're working hard, and I kind of raise you consistency. You know, I would rather you have slow and steady consistency than have like work hard, and then burn the fuck out. You get what I'm saying, chat? So collaborate, pull back where you can so that you can have some more self-control and be more frugal of what you're giving out to others, so you have more for you, and so that you can make these moves in silence. So you can rise to your own authority, seek permission from within, and do what you need to do for you. A cute little general. All right, who else wrote in today? Liliana. Let's see. Lily. Hello, Madam. I'm emailing you today from southeastern Idaho. My name is Lily. I love watching you go live on TikTok and on Instagram throughout the week. I have a big day coming up for me. I'm going to take my boards for registered nursing on Tuesday. Wow. That's a big deal. Wow. This is my second attempt. I'm nervous because the day is getting closer. I have put in the work, and before today, I was excited and felt confident. I don't want to fail again because I don't want to let any of my family, close friends, or most importantly, myself down. Some encouraging words of affirmation or a reading on how to go about this, if I'm considered, would be greatly appreciated. Happy Sunday. P.S. Have a happy Halloween. Thank you. You as well. Damn, Lil, that's a big deal. You know, that's a big deal. And I understand, you know, not wanting to fail again. I understand, but you must have learned something between your first attempt and your second attempt. You know, you must have learned something in between. Daniel, hold that thought. Let me do this and then I'll answer that question for you. That's a good one. All right, Lily, let's see what I've got for you, my friend. Well, it's important that you remain confident and that you kind of attack this shit head on. You've got a Knight of Swords here, so it's time to attack this head on, be determined, honor your ambitions, be driven. You want this. And even if you fail again, even if you do, third time's the charm. You know what I mean? Like, don't give up, babe. Don't give up. I understand you're nervous, but I think some of my biggest, if I don't have many regrets, but if I do have them, they are circumstances, all of them are circumstances in my life where I was too nervous to function. I let my nerves get the best of me and I couldn't be myself. You know, I couldn't be my normal, sassy, fun Madam Adam. Like I couldn't be me, you know? And, the nerves really got the best of me, you know, when I had that chemistry test in California for that reality show. I was too fucking nervous, you know, I was too nervous to like be myself. And they pulled me aside and they were like, where's the sassy Madam Adam that we know and love? You know what I'm saying? Be yourself. Don't be afraid to speak up and chime in. And I was found myself sitting back a lot and listening to people talk and being like, okay, what should I say? You know? So don't let the nerves get to you. That's always the biggest thing that I kick myself about, was letting my nerves kind of alter my performance in some way. But like, how do you not be nervous? You know what I'm saying? How do you not, you know? So it's weird. It's like, I'm not nervous when I'm standing in front of a crowd of like 4,000 people at Cinespia. I'm not nervous. When I'm standing in front of 100 people doing a panel, I'm not nervous. When I'm standing on a stage with a microphone, I'm not nervous. But when I'm in a small room in front of like producers and shit like that, I'm like, who am I? What do I say? You know, I don't know what the fuck that is. I really don't know. But like, you got to attack this shit head on, Lil. Queen of Swords energy is kind of great advice for this. She's wearing a crown of butterflies. So you're in the midst of change and transformation. As I throw it, you're in the midst of change and transformation. As I said a second ago, you should have learned something between your last attempt and this attempt. You should have learned a little bit about what you might have done wrong or what you might have fucked up with. You should have learned something in between now and then about that. Seven of Cups energy here. It doesn't really matter how you go into this. You know, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know if you have to wear a certain uniform or certain scrubs or whatever, but it doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter how you dress. It doesn't matter what you do with your face. It doesn't matter how you present yourself. What matters is that you don't have regrets and you put your best foot forward. And I agree with Brenda in the chat saying true failure is giving up. I fully agree with that. So, failure is lost to those that persevere, you know? So hit this head the fuck on. You want this, make it happen, you know? So I don't know what the boards are exactly. I'm assuming it's some kind of nursing test that you have to take. But yeah, I understand the nerves, and just remember that fear and excitement feel exactly the same in the body, you know? So yeah, do with that what you will. Let me just pull one little extra one for you. Yeah, chariot energy. I like that. I was thinking like, you know, if there's a kind of an energy of what we can expect from this, you know, not like an outcome, but I guess like, you know, what can you expect to get out of this second attempt? And it's forward momentum, overcoming the obstacles, the chariot being a sign of success and victory, but it's a sign that you've moved forward, and no matter what happens on Tuesday, you will do better than you did the first time. So there's that. You're not a work in progress. You're a success in progress, Lil. You're already doing it. So you're already on the road to victory. You're already on the right path for you. This doesn't mean you shouldn't be a nurse. It just means that, you know, like how many times does it take a lawyer to pass the bar? You know, some of them a few times. All right, let's see. Benin, is that right? B-E-N-A-N, Benin. Dear Madam Adam, before I tell you the story, I want to give you your flowers and tell you that you and your videos have been a good anchor in my life these past years. Thank you. I moved to China for master's and been stuck here for the past 2 years in a city far from the lifestyle that I was used to. Since day one, it's been nothing but trouble. And I kept saying, this is a test. At the end of this is a reward. Well, the reward didn't come, more like it delayed. But now I'm saying these are all signs that I shouldn't be here. I have my second round of thesis defense on November 3rd. Y'all are some smart fucking doing your nursing boards. Y'all are fucking your second round of thesis defense. I have no idea what that means. My God, y'all are some smart, ambitious people getting advice from me. Good Lord. And I was November 3rd, and I was wondering, could you give me some spiritual guidance regarding that and the aftermath? Because right after that, I'm moving to Shanghai by myself, where my ex and his clique lives. Oh, God. Okay. And I just feel that I'm going to be seeing him. We had a messy breakup, and I didn't get to say what I wanted to say. But on the bright side, I was wearing a moonstone before the breakup, and I broke up with him in my dream and beat his ass too. So maybe my dream will come true, LOL. Thank you so much for your time and care. Best wishes from an amateur witch. I love that. Dana, that means he's working on a PhD. My God. Y'all are some intelligent motherfuckers. I am. Wow. Okay. Good Lord. Moving to Shanghai, where your ex and his clique lives, you feel like you're going to be seeing him. Shanghai's huge, no? Isn't Shanghai like enormous and full of a shit ton of people, right? So I would like to suggest that the odds of you running into him are kind of slim, you know? I mean, fuck, we live in Orlando, and we had a falling out with a friend, and we haven't seen her since. And we go places that she could go, you know, places that we all kind of used to go together, and we never run into that hoe. Unless she sees us from a distance and scurries away, but which would be very her. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure that you should worry about that. You know, I'm not so sure you should worry about running into them and all of that. So don't manifest that. Do you know what I mean? So let's see what I've got. Yeah, okay. This is interesting. You've got a Page of Swords to start with. So we kind of need to cut the toxicity. We need to cut the negatives. We need a new mindset. New mindset, new attitude, new words attached to the things that you're trying to accomplish here. The Page of Swords is at a backswing, ready to cut some hose down, cut some things off. So we got to think about where our head's at. If words are spells, what are you manifesting for yourself, especially as an amateur witch, as you are? Make sure that you're being deliberate about what you say and that you're saying what you mean, and that you're being deliberate about your mindset and your attitude as you embrace your second round of thesis defense and your PhD. I understand that this is a test, and at the end of this is a reward. The reward didn't come, more like it delayed, but now I'm saying these are all signs that I shouldn't be here. So we're ready to move forward. You're ready to be done with this, but you do have 2 cards that are about endings and new beginnings in a major way. You've got the World and Death. So the World, more than anything, is a suggestion of this new chapter, right? That with this round of thesis defense, you're going to be embarking on a new chapter now. You know, there's new things that will come from this, kind of the death of the old and the birth of the new. So the World is just kind of everything's coming full circle. You're about to begin a new journey, but Death is a bit more concise. Death is a bit more, it's a bit more firm, you know, that like this is done, you know, like this is going to be the end of it and the beginning of something new, you know? So, so the aftermath of this is that you're going to be a new person now. And moving to Shanghai, babe, you've got victory on all of this. Like it all looks really good. We have to let the past go. We have to embrace that you're not the same person anymore. This is a new chapter for you. But going forward, the aftermath of this, we've got victory and you finding your tribe, you know, finding like-minded people that share your passions. Other keywords for this are recognition, validation, which I think is really what we're looking for with this thesis defense thing. We're kind of looking for the validation in that that you're on the right track, that you're doing the right things, you know? So, so yeah, the outcomes look really positive for you. The aftermath of it looks like victory, but it does require something on your end. Like I said before, it requires something on your end to kind of reframe and reset. You know, we need to cut this, any ideas of doubt in you. You know, you've worked too hard to do this and to give up or to let doubt get in the way, you know? So new chapters, death and rebirth of some kind. And especially, I love when death comes up during Scorpio season, because death is the Scorpio card in the major arcana. And it's like we're ushering in a season of change. We're ushering in the death of the year, of the winter months, you know? So yeah, I hope that makes sense and resonates, gives you something to think about at least. But yeah, don't worry about running into your ex in one of the largest cities in the world, you know? And if you do, like, that's serendipity, that's weird, that's random. And if you do run into him or his clique or whatever, feel free to get your closure, you know? Okay, I've got Jason. Jason writes, Dear Madam Adam, I'm writing in because I think I'm falling for the other gay guy at my work and not sure if they feel the same. Jason. Wow, Jason, how cliche. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So you're the only 2 homos at the place. All right. I never felt that way. I was never like, I don't know. I mean, most of the, I mean, at Toys R Us, I was the only gay. I was the only, well, gay guy. There was all the lesbians were all back of house and they worked truck. Classic. Um, but when I worked at the Void, there were quite a few homos. There were quite a few gays that worked there. And I mean, I would say there were maybe like 3 or 4 of us. And I was never, I mean, one of them was my friend, and I've always kind of knew that he had a small crush on me, but I never would have gone down that road. He wasn't my type. And I don't know, for me, workplace gayness always felt like competition. You know, I used to work at Kohl's when I was younger, and I was one of like 2 or 3 other gay guys there, and we all worked in different departments, and it was like you had to keep us separate, and there was like, who's the head gay? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's number 1 homo in this store? And and all of that. So and I used to come to work with my duffel bag because I moonlit as a performer at a bar, and I was also a go-go dancer and stuff like that. So sometimes I would come into the work next day. I would come to work the next day with like residual eyeliner on and stuff like that. And I don't know, still had like glitter on my neck or whatever, and had to like, oh, sorry. You know, I was head gay. Let's be real. But let's see what I've got for you, Jason. I can't tell you how this person feels about you, but I can tell you some guidance on how you should handle this. That was so a thing at my job. We had 2 gay guys. One was in competition with the other and is a complete tool, while the other was just his fabulous self and friends with everyone. Yeah, that was me. I was just myself and friends with everyone. And the other gay that worked there just hated me for it, you know? And also, I got promoted and he didn't. So he, you know, I was cross-trained in a lot of different departments, and he was just a cashier. So like they would say, hey, yeah, we need someone to work jewelry today. So-and-so called out. Adam, we're going to move you over there. And I'm like, okay, cool, great, whatever. Someone called out of juniors. Adam, you're going to go over there. Like I was cross-trained all over the store so I could do everything. And they hated that. They hated that. And they had their little clique with all the cashiers and shit like that. But how fun would that be, Jason, if you started a little romance? How cute would that be for you? The only 2 gay guys at work, and we might be falling for each other. That's cute. Let's see what I have here. Oh, well, okay. Damn, tough love coming out of the cards today. I wanted to be all optimistic about it. Jason, my love, well, I'm just going to spit it out for you. 5 of Cups energy, my friend. It's important that you prepare yourself for disappointment. You know, it's important that you prepare yourself for that. And I think you should find out sooner or later. You're not sure if they feel the same way. Well, you will know really quickly if you ask them out. You'll know really fast if you're like, hey, I like dudes. You like dudes. Do you want to go get a drink sometime? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get to know each other outside of work sometime. You won't know until you take the initiative. But with this 5 of Cups as well, we can kind of assume that you might have some romantic trauma, I guess. You might have some you might have some hesitancy in this because of your past, perhaps. I'm not sure, but that's just what I'm gathering from that 5 of Cups being here in this potentially romantic capacity. And you've got a 7 of Cups here. So we want to make sure that you're not being delusional and that you're being practical and picking up the right signals and stuff like that. But you won't know until you know. You won't know if the cup tastes good unless you drink from it, you know? So with 7 of Cups energy, it doesn't really matter how you go about this as long as you don't have regrets. You don't want to sit on this forever and just kind of develop feelings that aren't going to be reciprocated to you. And who knows, like at the very least, you could make a friend, you know? And I would love that. Like that's something that I really loved about working at the Void, is that at least me and all the other gays, we were friends, you know, and we kind of got along really well, and we had our own inside jokes and stuff like that, and it was a good time, you know. It's fun when you have gay friends. When you're gay and you have gay friends, it's really fulfilling. It's really lovely. Because everyone is so different, you know, and even though we're all gay, like we're all very different people. We all have our own interests and tastes and things like that. Like not every gay loves Barbara Streisand, but I sure fucking do, you know. So but yeah, Seven of Cups energy, and the Hanged Man as well. So Five of Cups, the Seven of Cups, and the Hanged Man. This whole spread is giving reality, you know, that there's a reality check here. And not that they don't feel the same way that you feel, but you need to be ready to nip this in the bud if you have to, and you need to be ready to accept things that you can't control. So trying to see it from their side, trying to see it from their angle of things, you know, you have to be ready to accept the fact that they might not feel the same way you feel, but not to the point where you're like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed, I made a mistake. Like you're not throwing yourself at them. You're not proposing marriage, you know. We're just trying to see, like, you know, we're the only two gays in the office. Why don't we get coffee sometime and talk shit about these hoes, you know, and then get to know each other and see if they, you know, you can honestly say, like, I've always kind of had a thing for you and always thought you were really cute, and you can, you know, kind of drop that bomb and see what comes of it. So, but yeah, the spread is suggesting that you kind of reel it in and prepare yourself to be potentially disappointed so that you're not surprised if it happens. Does that make sense, chat? I don't feel it's negative. I don't feel like it's a no. I feel like it's, hey, like, to be real with you, you might not get what you're looking for here, and you just have to be prepared for that, especially since it is a professional setting, you know? It doesn't feel negative to me. It just feels like, hey, girl, this is work. So even if that energy isn't reciprocated to you, if they don't feel the same way, then you still have to work together, you know? Yeah, Kieran, I like that. Better to start conversation in a diplomatic way so that he doesn't know or understand that Jason likes him. Yeah. Yeah. And you could start it out as like a, hey, let's get to know each other and be friends kind of thing, and see how that develops, you know? Because my friend, like, I don't know, he used to drop hints at me a lot. And I know that if there was a point where I was like, hey, let's do something, like he would have jumped on that. So I was always very clear that, like, ew, get away from me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ew, I'm not into that. Ew, get away. You know? So I hope that makes sense. I hope that resonates, gives you something to think about, gives you some reality to this. But I think you should have a conversation. I think you should talk about it. You know, you never know. But again, do prepare yourself for it being a one-sided thing. All right. Naomi. Yes, updates on the job. Very nice. Oh, yes. Thank you, Daniel. Let me go back to that. Madam, what when doing readings, would you say it's okay to do a reading with only major arcana cards until I get the minor cards learned? Yes, absolutely. I do think that is okay. I believe that the majors are the groundwork of all of tarot. So I think that's totally fine. All of the majors trickle down into their minors anyway. So, and that's something we talk a lot about in class. But I think that's totally fine. There's quite a few decks that are just the major arcana. So feel free to learn the loud messages before you fuck with the small ones. That's fine. If that's how you need to learn, go for it. You know? The majors are the foundation for all the cards. So, all right, Naomi. First week of work went great. Yes, it's retail, but I'm doing truck and putting stuff out and putting together ship from store orders. So I'm basically working on my own, which is perfect for me. Love that for you. I can have in one earbud in as long as my lead can still get my attention. If they need to AMD such, got it. Yeah, that's good that you can still have like that you can still listen to some stuff. Yeah, you're welcome, Daniel. Weather is changing. We're expecting snow again. Gotta love Montana weather. Anyways, again, I want to thank you and the Mavens for all the love and support I've received in this journey. And if there's time, can we do a read for the collective? Oh my God, not Naomi with the collective read. I don't want to seem selfish and always ask for me. Oh, you're allowed. That's what this is for. It's for you to ask about you if you want to. But yeah, let's do a collective read for the masses. All right. Come on, beginnings. The fuck? Come on, fresh starts, new beginnings. We got 2 aces and the fool. All right. I don't know. It's giving Scorpio season to me. You know, it's giving Scorpio season. It's giving death. It's giving death and rebirth. It's giving fresh start. It's giving prepare for the end of the year. You know, we're prepping for this newness. Even though the new year ushers in the newness, this is kind of giving don't wait. You know, don't wait for the new year. Don't wait for the ball to drop before you start your resolutions and start wanting to make changes in your life. Do so now. So we've got Ace of Wands and Ace of Cups energy. So we need to manifest passionately and emotionally. We need to make sure that we're lighting the match, that we're trailblazing the passionate path, that we're taking our passionate selves seriously. New beginnings, planting seeds and having small growth along the way. And the ultimate cleanse and forgive of the Ace of Cups, washing the past off you, having more emotional awareness, forgiving yourself for how hard you are on you, forgiving other people for their transgressions against you this past year, and being ready to take that leap of faith, that fresh start, the new beginning. You know? So it's giving start over. You know, reset. And when we start over, that doesn't mean that you like throw out all the work that's been done. It doesn't mean that you begin from scratch. When we start over, we begin from a place of better and newer understanding, you know? So Naomi, for you specifically, this is also giving that new job energy, you know? I did similar things that you're doing now. I did truck and ship from store orders as well for Toys R Us and stuff like that. I was told I wasn't allowed to have headphones in because, yeah, I wasn't listening. I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy belting songs from Yentl to pay attention. So, but yeah, it's, you know, it's a clean slate. It's a fresh start. Remain passionate about it as you will, as long as you're enjoying it. Cleanse yourself of any negatives and stuff like that. And this is a fresh start for you. This is a clean slate in many ways. The beginning of the new journey. I like it. And thank you for that collective, my friend. Brenda is next. Dear Madam, my subscription for Subscriber Live lapsed. We'll get Google Play cards soon. Hope you and Dustin are doing well. No worries. I totally understand. My life is a mess. A tower toppled, but have set up steps to deconstruct it so it doesn't rise again. I've heard spirits speak and not sure what cards could tell me. I usually ask for a collective reading. Well, Naomi took care of that. If considered, but would seek a personal one. The question, what does spirit want me to see from the current episode of This Is Your Journey? Thanks if considered, not desperate, just needing a flashlight from the darkness of the tower falling over. That makes so much sense, Brenda. I feel you. And good, I'm glad you know that you're not desperate. You know what I'm saying? You have the tools you need. You're welcome, Lil. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Oh my God, Brenda, happy early birthday to you. Scorpio baby. Let's see what light we can shine during this tower moment. Yeah, okay, a lot of us needing to face shit head on. This isn't a time to give up. It's a time to persevere. So, Brenda, for you, we're talking about simplicity, slow and steady. If you're going to keep your balance, if you're going to navigate this properly, you have to lighten the load a bit. Think about what your priorities are and be direct, be consistent. Narrow down your priorities and focus on them. And remember the 5 priorities as well, Brenda. Remember the 5 priorities. You come first, people that hold your heart, sustainable income, self-awareness, and shit that fuels the vessel, you know? If it's not something that fits in one of those things, you don't need to fuck with it right now. You've got enough going on, you know? So you were to face this shit head on, though. Have courage, be determined, be ambitious right now. Your drive, it's where it's at. Your drive to kind of deconstruct and rebuild something new. But this comes with a Page of Swords as well, that we have to alter the mindset, alter the attitude, cut the sins of the past, forgive yourself, and be practical about what happened and how it happened. So that, as you know, you already said you don't want, so it doesn't happen again. You don't want these to rise again. So that fully makes sense. But yeah, this is giving simplicity and focusing on those 5 priorities, narrowing things down. And you've got enough going on. So you need to lighten the load of other things. And be direct, be forward, attack this shit head on, take it seriously. But with swords outweighing the most here, it's logical. You know, doing what makes sense for you. There's not an emotion here. There's no cups here. So separating the facts from the feelings and leaning toward that wise path, staying grounded, practical, slow and steady, you know. A little clarifier for you. Speaking of cups, 5 of Cups energy, my friend. Grief is natural, you know. Feeling the emotional twinge of all of this is natural as well. There weren't any cups before, but this one is kind of a clarifier, kind of a little extra. It's that, you know, you're right to feel how you feel and to feel a little despair. So we need to kind of grieve the toppling of the tower. We have to grieve that process a little bit, you know? So take your time, but be diligent. That make sense? All right, Stella coming back with, if you guys remember last week, Stella shared with us her mom's ridiculous fucking real estate listing. If you missed it, check out last week's episode. That was Yeah. So, dear Madam, my mother updated the apartment listing. She's fucking cracked. Thought you'd appreciate the update. Mostly just sharing for the gossip. Love and appreciate you, Stella. So here's what the listing says now. You're shopping, all in caps. You're shopping around for an apartment, and what you see is what they need. Nothing fits, does it? This apartment needs everything. It's a clean slate waiting for someone with a vision to bring it back to its original charm, to make it feel like your home. Big caps. At an asking price of $112,500, the owner moved and gutted it to give you a clean slate and to give you that opportunity to have that dream home of your own. See it for yourself. 1,230 square feet, water view, third floor elevator building. Make an offer. All in caps. Make an offer, bitch. What does that even mean? You're shopping around for an apartment, and what you see is what they need. Nothing fits, does it? You're contradicting yourself. This apartment needs everything. Great. So why the fuck would I give you $112,000 for an empty space? Why would I do that? Why? Nothing about this is attractive. Nothing. At least she's not like spilling her woe is me shit again like she was before. Wow. She needs to, I mean, is this written by ChatGPT or something? Just buy a Temu house at that point. Period. Oh my God. My God, it's giving, maybe she could use ChatGPT. Honestly, like I hate ChatGPT and I don't think anybody should be using it, but maybe she could use it for this, you know? My God, what a fucking psycho. You're shopping around for an apartment and what you see is what they need. Nothing fits, does it? Like, what does that mean? Shopping around for an apartment and what you see is what they need. Nothing fits, does it? So it's like you're saying, like, what you see is what they need, right? In other apartments, not this one. That's how that sounds to me. I don't know about you guys, but just reading that, that's how that sounds. Like, this isn't the apartment for you. That's how that sounds, you know? This apartment needs everything. It's a clean slate. Oh, great. It needs everything. It's a clean slate waiting for someone with a vision to bring it back to its original charm. You want someone to flip it or something, you know? What a psycho. And then big caps. Make an offer. Don't demand. Don't demand people to make an offer. Yeah, she's fucking cracked, Stella. Facts. Wow. What a basket case. Right? Just say it's empty, literally. Sounds like it was written by a drunk at 2 a.m. to me. Yeah, she probably had too many wine coolers. You know? Probably a little heavy-handed on the Chardonnay. All right, this one's from Kimmy. Dear Madam, I'm an older fan, 54 years young. Welcome, Kimmy. I started following you. It says just a note of appreciation. I started following you one summer when you were doing your podcast and just love your wisdom. I started reading my own tarot cards about 2 years ago, and it really is such a practice. I've sent for single and 3-card readings randomly, and you are so spot on and give such practical advice. I love watching you live when I'm home. You are my background TV. I've learned so much from listening to you. I appreciate your story. I grew up Catholic, then became a born-again Christian, dabbled in Wiccan, and now just say I believe there's a higher power and just live life with as much love as I can. My son is gay, and his father is awful to him. I ended up leaving his dad and I'm doing well. I just have not managed financial prosperity yet. I hope you continue to hope you continue your lives for years to come. I'm wishing you and Dustin well on your adventures and trust you build a very happy, prosperous life together. Thank you for your advice and wisdom, Kimmy. Thanks, Kim. Thank you so much. I needed that. I really did. Classes went really well and all of that. I'm really excited for Spooky Empire this year. But there's just been a lot of stress going on behind the scenes, and a different Kimmy, not Kimmy Smalls, a different one. But there's just been a lot of stress behind the scenes and a lot of me being really rough on myself. And I did a private session with somebody and they were like, you probably hear this all the time, but I just want to tell you what you mean to me. And I'm like, I really don't. Like, I really don't hear it as much as people think I might. So little stuff like that, like, it's just, that means a lot to me. So thank you, Kimmy. I really appreciate you writing in and taking the time to share your appreciation. It really lights me up. Thank you so much. All right, Karen. When? Great. Let's see. Hello, beautiful. How you doing? Thank you for the class and sharing the raw knowledge about tarot with us. The class was amazing and I loved it a lot. This might be a long email. So my story begins from when my mom was single and used to go to medical college. And there she met my late mother-in-law and became best friends. Then both my mom and my mother-in-law got married to their husbands in India. And coincidentally in my city, because that time my father-in-law was working in an NGO then after having children. We, me and my husband, got introduced. Our family used to spend time together, and my mom and mother-in-law always said that they'll get us both married when we grow up. Then when my husband was 10, they all moved to Canada, but visited us every year till 97, because in 98, my husband moved to Denmark, and then there was no contact between us at all. Time jumped to 2018, as I'm in touch with his sister. She spoke to him about me, and then he made a Facebook account to connect with me, and now this year, it'll be 7 years of our marriage. Wow, what a story. That's wild. Now they're invested. Now they manifested our marriage, but forgot to manifest us living together under the same roof. Right. I remember this. So I would really appreciate it if you can put some light to this half-ass manifestation and see if there is a 10 of Cups energy in this. Thank you, love. You're welcome. Karen, we're going to do this a couple ways. I've got a couple ideas for you here. Who does half-ass manifestation in the first place? Bitch, you would be surprised. You would be surprised. That whole thing that I said where people grab a rose cord, shove it up their ass and make a wish, right? That's half-ass manifestation. Well, Well, right now with all of this, my love, it's important that you remain a Queen of Wands. You know, it's important that you remain passionate, inspired, that you remain warm and open-minded about this. The Black Cat shows that you are protected at this time. You are being looked after. We're working on it, you know. Your manifestations are just going to take some time. So you have to try to find temperance. You have to try to find balance and peace with things as they are and your demands, you know. And I say demands loosely because it's not like, gimme, you know what I'm saying? But you have to try to find peace and balance between what you desire and what's possible right now. We have to have a little bit of reality in it, you know. 9 of Swords energy, this is going to eat at you for a minute, you know. It looks like it's going to be more stress than anything, that the manifestations are going to take some time and it's going to keep you up at night. And we all know you don't sleep. So it is going to keep you up at night. But I will say that it is clear that you love each other, you know. It is clear that you guys share a love. I mean, he bought you class with me and everything. Like, how sweet is that? So this is going to keep you up, and it's important that you continue to manifest and you continue to make the moves in silence that you can make to make this happen. But it's going to take a lot of temperance, babe. It's going to take a lot of patience. It's going to take a lot of moderation. It's going to take a lot of slow and steady. Do you know what I mean? But my other idea with this is that I want to go look for the 10 of Cups for you and see what the fucking holdup is, you know? She said, bitch, I take cat naps. Sure you do. Sure. Let's see. Where is that 10 of Cups? This is something you can do on your own as well. If you are familiar with the cards enough and your question is giving the vibe of a certain card. I mean, you brought up 10 of Cups energy, so you know what it means. So if a question or a thought you have sounds like, damn, that feels like 10 of Cups energy, or that feels like Tower energy, you can go look for that card in the deck and see what comes before and after it. I make a cute little spread for yourself. So let's see if I can find it. I must have missed it on my first pass. There it is. This is interesting. So around your 10 of Cups, you've got the Empress and the Sun. So it's almost like somebody's mom is in the way. Can you put a hit out on somebody's mom? I kid. But it looks like there's some maternal energy in the way, you know? So, and it might be, while you're practicing your manifestations, while you're trying to do your own spell work and stuff like that, make sure that you are resting, that you're loving yourself, that you're taking those cat naps and everything. But make sure that you're taking good care of you in the process. But if we're talking about blockages for you, I can't imagine that self-care is going to be a blockage to you guys living together. Do you know what I mean? So the Empress is big mom energy, though. So maybe there is some kind of mom energy that might be in the way here, or them in heaven still doing half-ass manifestation, literally. But there might also be, maybe the idea with this too is that there might be some maternal energy that can help you with this. You know, someone that you kind of view as a mom in your life, even if the moms aren't around. Maybe there's maternal energy that can fuel this for you, but you should get what you want, babe. It's coming. It's happening, you know? It's just, it looks like it's just not on a timeline that you would like. And that sucks. So it's almost like making sure that your manifestations aren't somewhat hypocritical, you know? No one mom, and he doesn't take anyone as mom. Well, that's fair. Well, then it's got to be you. You know, then that maternal energy has to be coming from you, the way you mother yourself, the way you tend to yourself. Just make sure that you are, while you're doing your own spell work and stuff like that, you make sure that you are taking good care of you in the process. So I don't have a timeline or anything, but the sun is here, babe. The light is coming. You should get what you want. You guys should be able to be under the same roof eventually. It's just going to take some time. So ultimately, we need some temperance. Give that some thought, darling. All right, let's see. Treasure. Karen, oh my God, you're killing me. Treasure, I've got a couple messages from you. One, dear Madam Adam, I just want to say thank you for being here with us all day, every day. Someone I used to know put me on to you, and because phones are always listening, you're always popping up. So I decided to give you a follow, and every time I'm going through the motions with life itself, you're just always here. And I've been taking each step of the way of my journey with every reading that comes to my feed. So I just want to say thank you and would like to do a regular reading tonight, if you will. And then Tough Love Tarot, if you will. I'm having emotional indecision and just want to make sure I'm making the right moves. Very nice. Let's see what I've got for you, Treasure. Ooh, it seems to be a theme this evening. That Page of Swords is a theme tonight. The need to cut toxicity. You'll know you're making the right moves once you continue and get out there, you know? So, Page of Swords energy. Cut the toxicity. Be insightful, logical, practical. Be willing to change your mindset a little bit, you know? Emotional indecision is giving 7 of Cups energy. And with that one, it's always that it doesn't really matter what you choose. What matters is what feels right for you. So following that vein, you got to make sure that you are practicing your emotional needs, your emotional intelligence, that you're honoring how you feel, following your intuition. Queen of Cups energy, focusing on your self-care through transformation, and Queen of Swords energy as well. That's why I feel that this spread is more about you have to have the conviction to follow through with your own choices, and then know that it's the right thing for you as you go. You know, you make it the right thing for you as you go. So with these Queen of Swords energy, try not to anticipate problems. Try not to worry if you made the wrong move. Just make a move, make a choice, and see where it takes you. You know, we have to use our discernment. It's important that you're honest, that you're reasonable about things while you're making these choices. That you're using your head about it. So again, make sure that your emotional needs are being met right now, that you're loving yourself, and that we're willing to change our attitude and cut the toxicity that we might have, that we might be holding right now. So yeah, you want to make sure you're making the right moves. Well, you are if you feel strongly about them. If it's moves where you're being honest and kind with yourself, those are the right moves. You know, if it's moves that allow you to take care of yourself, Queen of Cups, those are the right moves. And then on the way, while you're, you know, following through with these choices, make sure that you're being that you're not being negative or defeatist or wondering, did I fuck up? Like, just, you know, take things as they come. Make it the right move for you, especially if it was done out of emotional awareness and out of need for yourself, you know? All right. I have a couple more. I've got 2 more emails. and a text message. And normally this is an hour-long live, and I want to tell you that I'm not just rambling tonight, but these used to be hour-long lives because not very many people wrote in to me. But I am so happy to fill a 2-hour time slot with all these emails and text messages. So thank you guys so much for your participation. And we keep having more and more people show up to these lives on Sundays. So I really appreciate it. I love it. So we've got some more to do. I've got another text message from our 703 number. It says, "Hi again. I'm writing this after completing an application to be a social media intern at one of my favorite local Instagram pages. I'm not going to get it, but I poured my heart into it. As you know, I'm co-mod of my best friend's unofficial Reddit." I think I remember that. "I have arranged a pre-show meetup of 6 fans, some of who are just becoming aware of my bestie's band. It will be my 6th show seeing him in the chilly February weather, but I'm excited. His new album is fantastic. I'm curious to see what the cards will say about the outcome of my internship. I'm scared, but I'll let you know. Have a good night." Absolutely. Let's see what we've got. Well, that's really exciting. How does this internship work for you? Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, Treasure, unfortunately, you did miss it. But after this live, you can rewatch it. I think you can rewind YouTube while I'm live. Am I making that up? I don't remember if that's real or if that's just Facebook. I don't know. But I just did it like a little bit ago. Good. So you can go back a little bit and listen to what I have for you. I guess, Treasure, the nutshell of it. Yeah, you missed your read, but so rewind it a little bit if you want to hear it. But I'll give you the nutshell of it. Basically, the reading was like, you're not sure if you made the right moves for you, and you've got some emotional indecision and things like that. You have to remove the doubt and do what feels right for you. You know, you got to make sure that you, if you're making these moves and decisions based on emotional truth, you're on the right path, you know? So it was just a few minutes ago if you want to go back, or when I'm done, you can just rewatch the live. All right, so Miss 703, the outcome of your internship. Well, we all know that it's what you put into it. The future holds what you carry. It looks like it holds new beginnings for you. Leaps of faith, fresh starts, new beginnings, clean slate energy. You've been going on this internship was like a slow and steady emotional journey for you. So you kind of have to take whatever comes after this as it comes, and be open-minded and open-hearted to it. But the Fool suggests that it's a fresh start for you, that there's new things that come your way after that. So going forward with this, make sure that you aren't anticipating issues or problems. Make sure that you are dealing with things as they come your way. This is a transformation for you in a lot of ways. So, but yeah, the outcome of this looks like it's fresh starts, clean slates, new beginnings, new opportunities. Yeah. So it's been a slow and steady thing. Be open to whatever might come your way after, but it should be a fresh start of sorts. All right. Back to the last couple emails I have. Bear, Berre, Bear, Berie. Dear Madam, I watch your daily reading and so enjoy your vibe. My question is about art or writing. I love both, but feel like working with one would lead to more focus, which I'd like to have in my creative realm. Thank you, Madam, and big salutations to a job well done. Thank you. So art or writing is kind of what we're thinking about here, one or the other. Well, I will say, without cards, I will say that you should invest in whichever thing is more passionate for you, whichever thing that you can see yourself dedicating more time to. But for what it's worth, next year's cards are the Wheel of Fortune and the Magician. So next year, especially with the Magician, next year is a really great year for creatives. It's really good for musicians, artists, writers, for anyone that does creative work, readers, etc. I love both, but feel like working with one would lead to more focus. I respect that. Yeah, whichever one you can see yourself diving into, you know, whichever one you can just hit head on, you know. Determined, whatever leaves you ambitious, whatever your drive is. But I will say, yeah, picking one versus the other is going to be a leap of faith, a fresh start, a new beginning. You have to trust yourself in the process and make sure that you're not being deceptive to yourself and thinking like, oh, I fucked up. I should have picked the other one. So, I hate to say it, but it really doesn't matter which one you pick, babe. They're both great options. It's whichever one you feel kind of more driven toward. So it's going to be a leap of faith. It's going to be a trust fall. And I can tell you right now, no matter which one you pick, you're going to wonder if you should have picked the other thing, no matter what. So it's whichever one you can attack with ambition, that you can find drive in, routine in. Your determination can be fueled by it as well. So the swords outweigh. So whichever one is more practical and logical for you. You know, whichever one is leading with logic for you, that's the one you should tap into first. All right, Emily. All right, I've got Emily, and then I've got another text message. Thank you guys so much for your participation. Hi, Em. Dear Madam, hi, love. I hope you're well and miss you lots. This is a little long. Apologies for my rambling in advance. You're fine. I have a situation I'd love your perspective on. I think I've told you before about my work wife from my camp job. I think so. We'll call her Mia because that's her name. LOL. Mia and I first worked together in the summer of 22 and quickly became inseparable. We have been mostly long-distance friends since then, but we stayed in a pretty constant communication. Texting, Snapchat, sending those cheesy, I'm so glad you're my friend, Instagram reels to each other, using Marco Polo, etc. We also saw each other in person a couple of times a year. I consider her my best friend, or at least I did, until she went radio silent on me 3 months ago. For context, I spent a few weeks back home in July of this year after my grandma passed away. I'm so sorry to hear about that. I was able to spend a good amount of time volunteering at camp where she still works. Mia was in a super demanding role this summer, so I didn't see much of her. The few interactions we did have were admittedly not great. She was often short with me and others on staff, and I think the stress of her job really got to her. I, maybe foolishly, didn't think I had anything to do with it, and I figured she'd tell me if I'd done something to upset her. I didn't get to say goodbye to her, but we had a brief text conversation the day I left camp. I haven't heard from her since then. I've tried to reach out in multiple ways, but it feels like she's completely ignoring me. I've kind of come to terms with the idea that I will probably never hear from her again, but I'd be lying if I said I was over it or I'm having no issues dealing with this. My life has been so good in every other area, and I wish I could just forget about it, focus on other things, and or move on. But she still crosses my mind often. Losing her as a friend really gets me down. Do you and or the cards have any insight on how to handle this? Thank you. Love you. Mean it. M. Yes. I wonder if there is any kind of low-key resentment that you left and got this big fancy job at Disney or whatever. I wonder if there's any kind of you left and kind of moved on to better yourself, you know, and not to better yourself, not that you were in a bad place or anything, but a sense of you kind of moving on and getting out of that town. And I wonder if she has any kind of resentment on that, you know, but I kind of agree with you. I mean, just from what you wrote here, it does sound like she kind of got consumed by the role. And like you said, she was often short with me and others on staff. I think the stress of her job really got to her. Yeah. You know? So let's see what we've got. Maybe, I really don't know. She wants to do camp as a career, so it's not like she's stuck per se. That's fair, but like, she stayed and you left, you know? So maybe there's some kind of like, I don't know, M, and like, let's be real, to the outsider, working at Disney is a glamorous thing, you know? So I don't know, maybe there's some kind of resentment and jealousy. Or maybe she just can't handle the stress. Career, that's fine. But even though you might have wrapped your head around, it's like, okay, pretend that like Dustin and another person worked in the same dance studio forever, you know, same dance studio vibes. And this person was, this didn't happen. I'm just giving you an example, but like, let's pretend that like Dustin's friend or whatever was like, no, dance is going to be my whole life. I think I'm going to run this studio one day. I'm going to stay here. The studio is my life. I want the studio to be my career. And then Dustin goes off and starts doing entertainment and having these opportunities and, you know, working at Disney and Universal and cruise ships and stuff like that. And then if he were to go back to that studio, that person might feel some type of way, you know? I think going back to school could contribute to that more than work itself. She ended up dropping out of undergrad. There you go. That might be something too. But I guess my point is, Em, that like no matter what you went out to do, you went back to school or you left town to go trailblaze your own life, maybe there is some kind of small bitchy resentment that they decided to stay here. They decided to stay where they might feel safe. And you were someone that decided to pick your life up and take some risks, you know? So maybe there's a part of them that kind of wishes that they could have been more like you, you know, even though, yeah, they wanted camp to be the career, but like, I left college, I was academically suspended, so they kicked me out. I left, and I had been a big part of the theater scene at my college, and things have also changed a lot culturally at camp too, so I feel like she could be surrounded by some toxicity. That's fair. But I left on my academic suspension, and they did a bunch of shows without me. And when I came back, it was really weird. It was really awkward. I was like hot shit in our little theater community. The director was like one of my best friends, you know, and I had this best friend energy, similar to you and your friend. Like my friend Melissa was my best friend in college, and she was also a staff member and she worked there. She was also she's close to our age as well. Like she had just graduated college and then came to our college to run our ministry and theater department. So when I came back, shit was really weird and it was really awkward. And it was like this person had suddenly returned and there was all this really weird animosity. So it can just be that like going and coming back energy makes them feel some type of way, no matter what it is or whatever happened. But I do agree with you, but like, that's my best friend, so why can't she talk to me, right? No, facts. I didn't realize that my friend Melissa held out like resentments, low-key resentment against me from me leaving theater and everything. And I didn't know that until we went to spend Christmas with them in Ohio. And this was like 8-something years later, where we were talking about shows that we did. And I was like, oh, I wasn't in that one. Let's watch shows that I was in, you know, like, cause we were all there together. Me, my friend Amy and Melissa, and all of our spouses that weren't in the shows. But like when we all get together, we're all going to go to Melissa's keyboard. We're all going to jump to the piano and sing our songs from the shows and watch those old videos again and reminisce about the things. And they wanted to watch one that like I wasn't in. And I was like, well, why don't we just watch ones that like we were all in? And she was a little lit. She was a little drunk. And she looked at me and she was like, you left. And I was like, whoa, like, I was academically suspended. Like, yeah, that was my fault, but I didn't just up and leave and decide to like, you know, go away. So I discovered later that she did have some kind of abandonment feeling from me, you know, and I didn't know that at all. So, and she was like, you left me and all this stuff. And that's just not really what happened, you know? I mean, fuck, she even said that, like, I left theater because of my boyfriend at the time, Jeremy, when we did a 4-person musical review with my friends Amy and Anna, and then me and my then boyfriend, Jeremy, and the 4 of us did a musical review together. There's only 4 of us. There were no understudies. It was just us and Melissa and a little band of people. So if one of us couldn't do the show, where's the show, you know? And my boyfriend at the time, he was a very, very toxic person. And he just, I don't know, we had this really fucked up relationship. And he pulled out of the show one night and tried to say like, well, I'm having a panic attack. You need to come with me to the hospital. And I'm like, Jer, I can't go with you. Like, I have to sing your songs on stage now. Like, I have to replace you. We have to do this 4-person thing with just the 3 of us. It can't just be the girls. It can't be a 2-person show. We need at least the 3 of us to carry the harmonies and to do the male songs. I have to do your songs now, you know? And he was like, oh, over my dead body, how dare you want to replace me in that show? Like, I'm not trying to. You're calling out and trying to say you don't want to do this because he had beef with Melissa. It was all this drama that happened. So she thought that I like chose Jeremy over her, even though I told Jeremy he has other friends that can take him to the hospital, and they did. And he was back an hour later, girl. He was back an hour later outside the theater. He broke up with me during intermission, which made my first song after intermission really powerful, because the first song after intermission was this like couple breakup song, and literally the first lines of the song were, what hurts the most is knowing that I loved you more than you loved me. And it was about a breakup that like me and Amy were breaking up on stage together. So I was crying real tears because the boy broke up with me during intermission. We were engaged, and he was like, give me that ring. We're done. I can't believe you went on stage and replaced me. You always put yourself first, blah, 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 and just totally twisted the whole situation. But Melissa she must have forgot that like I said, no, like I'm not going with you. I'm going to be here for my friends that are on stage, these people that bought tickets for Melissa, the director. She was pissed that he pulled out of the show all of a sudden. And, me and Jeremy did live together for a minute, but like I didn't abandon her to go live with him or anything. I got academically suspended from school because I wasn't going to my classes, and then was rather doing theater instead. That wasn't an accredited thing. But I didn't know that she had this kind of resentment. And when I came back, she had kind of like inadvertently replaced me with other people that were around, you know? So I don't know. I just think that there's something to you going and coming back that might have brought some kind of feeling to her, and ghosting you kind of speaks for itself, you know, that she must feel some type of way. She has to, because if not, like, why aren't we talking? Tell me about the stress of camp. Tell me about it. Like, how's your job? Like, what's going on? You know, you seem really stressed out. Talk to me. So, all right. What I will say to you, Em, is that this is not your problem. It's not your problem. You are going through transformation and change. You are the Queen of Swords in this. You have the open hand of like, hi, talk to me about it. Like, share with me about it. But you also have this new sharp, shiny sword over here as well. You have a new spine to you, perhaps, or you've got new gusto. You've got new confidence about you, maybe going back to school and everything, and, you know, leaving home and stuff. Like, you've got like newness to you, you know? So you're going through a period of change in yourself, and maybe it's change that they haven't been able to actualize in themselves. But when it comes to your friend here, need I say more? Like, it kind of speaks for itself. She's a bit overburdened. She's a bit overstressed. And you might just be a reminder of shit that she wished she had, or, you know, maybe she feels like she made a mistake or something, and all of that, you know, but she's definitely overburdened and feeling a lot of heavy stress and duty on herself. And it's because she cares a lot about it. She's been there forever. She cares a lot. So you, my friend, you got to follow your heart here. You got to trust your intuition, follow your feelings. I'm not sure if you're open to reaching out at all again, but like, I think this person is deserved a kind of what the fuck, you know? WTF, Mia. The 10 of Wands feels like that could be me too. Like, I've got too much other shit to worry about, so this isn't worth my time. Facts. Facts. Yeah. I pulled it thinking like you, her, what should you do about it? But if that applies to you as well, period. You know? Absolutely. You've got a lot of other shit going. But look at that hand, right? Like, you're open to the conversation. You're like, come, talk to me. Let's talk about things. But you got to trust your intuition and follow your heart on these things. So what do I always say? Do what feels right. All you owe anybody is truth and kindness. All you owe anybody is truth and kindness, but that has to begin with you doing what is honest and kind for you. So if you need some type of closure, because you said you should be over it, but you're having issues dealing with it. Right. Like Naomi said, it's not like you cut her off. It's not like you went, fuck you, and like disappeared. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you need some type of closure, feel free to send an email, to send a text, to send a Snapchat. Like, hey, I really think we should talk. Like, I haven't heard from you in a while. And like, we're supposed to be friends, right? Like, if you're really, you're throwing around this best friend phrase quite a bit here. I've texted her multiple times and nothing. Well, have those been direct messages? Like, have you been direct about it? Like, why are you ignoring me? Because I'm like that. I'm very like, why the fuck are you ignoring me? What's going on with you? If there's something going on, I'm here for you, The last thing I sent her was a voice note that was very much that vibe. Okay. Then she's got an issue. She's got a problem, and something about seeing you again, like, flared it up. I think bitch is jealous. I think the bitch is jealous. Yeah, balls in her court. I think she's jealous. She might have picked this career, and that's fine. But it seems that maybe with the way that she was acting when you saw her last, that maybe it's not been all it's cracked out to be. Is that the right phrase? Cracked up, cracked out? You know what I mean. So I hope that's something. I hope that gives you some thought. But I found that when I left and came back places, that people were different. Oh, you were in New York. And it's like, well, yeah, my great grandmother was dying and I was academically suspended. So what do you want from me? Truly helpful. Good, Em. Glad to hear it. So last thing, I have a text message, last one. And then I'm going to get out of here. Hi, my name is Pigeon. How cute is that? My name is Pigeon. I watch your reels most days. They help me believe in myself and remind me to focus on manifesting. Thank you for helping me reconnect most days. Sorry if this is too late. This year I have fully released and restart everything after a horrible divorce from my abuser who left me for my ex-best friend. Shady. God damn. Well, congratulations on your divorce, but wow, shade, deception. I have lost so much, but truly grateful to be free. That's where it's at. I had an interview this week for a dream job, and I believe I got it. My current job is about to end due to lack of funding. I just want to know my animals and I will be okay. I just want to gain stability after 11 months of pure chaos. Let's see what I've got for you, Pidge. I know, Zoe. I'm almost done. I promise. He's looking at me like, why are you still alive? All right. Period. Well, judgment, my friend, you will find out soon enough. The truth will come out. The separation of facts and feelings will come out. You will find out the truth of this, of whether or not you got it soon enough, right? Knight of Pentacles energy. Now is your time to be in the moment. Now is the time to focus on the now. You've been goal-oriented. You've been consistent. You've been diligent. That's the vibe of the Knight of Pentacles. It's important that you're in the moment so you can see the journey that lies ahead for you. But I can't imagine why you wouldn't get this. Like Page of Pentacles energy, the hard work pays off. You know, keywords here are studious, practical, grounded, focused. Yes, ma'am. The hard work pays off. You should begin to see the fruits of your labor in the form of opportunities. So I can't imagine why you wouldn't get this. Understand something as well, my friends. The pages are new to court. They are the first court card of the minor arcanas. It goes page, knight, queen, king, right? So the page is new. And the page, especially the Page of Pentacles, they had to go through the journey of planting the seed from the ace to the 2, 3, 4, 5. They had to go through the highs and lows, what worked and what didn't work. They had to have a bad crop before they got the right crop, and they had to figure out what doesn't work for them, and don't do this, but do that. They had to figure out everything, ace to 10, before they could have that abundance, you know? So Page of Pentacles energy, he's holding up one of the fruits from his tree. You know, he pulled that pentacle from the 10 of Pentacles, that tree of life, that tree that has all the pentacles on it. He pulled that pentacle from the tree and is willing to present it and say, this is my best. This is my best work. What opportunities are there for me? So thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Just keep doing the next right thing. Yeah, have a wonderful night. That's right. Just keep doing the next right thing. Absolutely. So Page of Pentacles energy, like I said, you've done all the work. The hard work pays off. Opportunities come your way. The judgment will come out sooner than later. Do your best to be in the moment and celebrate the strides that you've taken thus far. Proud of you, my friend. Good shit. All right, my lovelies. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I really appreciate you. This has been a lovely live. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you guys have too. The chat has been lovely. Don't forget to join me tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, for Monday Night Mass, our 3-hour marathon live, where we go through all 12 zodiacs. We do personal reads. We do 10 minutes of madness. We raise money for charity. We do a lot of things. So make sure you join me 9 p.m. tomorrow. On Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, as long as YouTube is working. And yeah, make sure you engage with the content. Free engagement goes a really long way. Comments, likes, shares, free engagement goes a really long way. So make sure you give me some love on my socials, on the content. And thank you guys so much for the love and support. Don't forget to check out the highlight reels on Instagram that say help a teacher. If you're able to donate some school supplies, hygiene products, or books, or things to a teacher in need, make sure you do so on my Instagram. I'll be putting up some more teacher links tonight or tomorrow. If you were in class this weekend, you can expect the recording of class probably sometime tomorrow afternoon when I've got time to sit down and get it all together. So yeah, probably not tonight, but probably tomorrow afternoon, you should get the recording for class. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure as always. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.